Pounders, welcome back. Today we got episode 3 of the Big Board. If you want to jump into these drafts with us on the live stream, your best chance is to subscribe to the Patreon or the YouTube memberships. Also, the draft guide will be done tonight. We'll be sending it out tomorrow. That's available for any tier of the Patreon. We'll give a little sneak peek. We'll give a little sneak peek. I like the value-based style, based on their ADP. That's what we did last year. It seemed to work out well. And I did just go ahead and rank the first round. These ADPs are going to be changing so often that I'm going to go back and every 25% fill rate, the contest fills, we're going to update it. So at 25%, we'll update it again, 50%, 75%. And then we should be getting BBM 4 or 5, excuse me. And this guide will be updated for that contest as well, fully included. We see Lamb go with the 101. Okay. I think we made that mistake last year, though. So CMC is going to be my guy this year at the 101. Pretty clear. JJ off the board at 3. Tyreek off the board at 4. Shout out to King of Kings hopping in here. Pounder in the 7 spot. Chris. This name's clean. Just Chris. Insane. If you guys are just joining us, go down, slap the like on the live stream. If you enjoyed today's stream, consider dropping a sub. We're on the way to 1,100. This is the exact way we were talking in the pregame lobby here. If Kelsey retires, we have to blame Taylor Swift. And it's going to be a fight. It's going to be an absolute war against these Swifties. I'm afraid. Seth goes, I don't have any subs, but if I did, you and Spags would definitely be in the 2. Let's go. I appreciate you, bro. Yeah, we did give out the guide for free last year, updated it 5-6 times through the off season. Going to be updating it even more this year. I'm glad that was a help. And again, you can learn a lot just from the live streams. You can take away a lot of the takes, but there are extra benefits like seeing my exposure, stuff like that. Bijan goes off the board at 9. You know, this is actually kind of how I have it going in the guide too. So hopefully we get Garrett Wilson here. Otherwise, do we go double RB? Like, no, thank God we don't have to make that choice. I'm cool with going Garrett Wilson and Kyron here. If I'm the Rams, do I feel like I have to bring in another running back? You know what I mean? Sure, you can bring in maybe a different style running back, but it seems like they have their guy on first and second down. So we'll bring in Kyron here. And again, it's going to be funny looking back at all these teams we drafted early before the NFL draft. And then like teams are like, you weren't supposed to do that in the draft. You don't need that position. Seattle running backs like go lower last season. And Kenneth Walker still survived. All right. The Overzet coffee pour. Cheers. And happy Friday. Jamar Chase and Brandon Ayuk for King of Kings. I like that start. I don't know if I'm going Brandon Ayuk over Debo right now. I think I still have Deebs ahead. You didn't give us enough time to get into the draft. We did tip off the YouTube members and the Patreon members of an 8:15 p.m. start time. Co-host, man. We can't give out special privileges just because you're a co-host, okay, Nick? And we have to let someone else draft Ray Davis. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Rigged. Breece Hall and Josh Allen. So we'll see how this team looks. Going to be a little thin at wide receiver. Had to do it. Good evening, NU Collector. Let's go. Welcome to the live stream, man. Along the top scroll bar. Dude, I'm still. Send a photo, like take a photo of it and send it to my Twitter machine. Talking about this? Oh, you're talking about this. I copy. Yeah, that's gotta be new. So you do like a bird's eye view of the team, I guess? Like, we're talking about this right here? Where you can see, like, half green, half orange for running back, receiver? Yeah, that's what he's gotta be referencing. Devontae Adams at 23, like, I'm in love with that pick right now. I'm in love with that pick. I like the 2 spots draft so far. And if you guys snuck into this draft room without letting us know, first off, that's, illegal in 47 states. Uh, let us know where you're drafting from. We'll cover your team. JJ, Rashee Rice, and bringing in the Pacheco, a little double KC action. And might be able to get Kelsey and Mahomes with that squad. Personally, I'm not drafting Kelsey right now. I think we can learn a lot just after Super Bowl on his intentions to play next season or not. Debo falls to 29 in this room. What? To the team that goes Brees, Josh Allen too? Like, that feels good. That feels good for him. Obviously needed a wide receiver and getting Debo there. Although DK's also fine. I think, like, his ADP is still falling, but, we're getting to the point where how much further are you gonna drop the man? So let's see. If DK's there, I'll bring in DK in the squad. See if Tyler Lockett returns. Eric, welcome to the live stream, my man. This this is tragic. Even if Kelsey does play, he's a very old man now. I got a couple grays in here. You gotta zoom in. You gotta zoom in on the cam. Patty Graybeard. That's how you know the picks are gonna be majestic. This dude's going receiver, right? You got Mike Evans, free agent this year. Any projections? Any projections for where Mike Evans lands? Let me know if you guys are joining us after the stream's over. Let me know in the comments. Love to hear what you guys think where he lands. Keenan Allen and Waddle. I don't mind Neighbors as well. I don't mind Jalen Hurts or Lamar here, too. Feels good. Feels good. Josh says resigns in Tampa. Manifesting him with the Charger. Yeah. Nick says, I think we should click Jackson and Hurts. Both, man. Both. There's too many values at QB. Like, I honestly think between Josh Allen and then the next tier of like Jalen Hurts and Lamar, something has to happen, right? Josh Allen has to fall or those other QBs have to rise. What's most likely to happen is Josh Allen's going to fall a little bit and those QBs are going to rise a little bit. Like those QBs should be going over Rashad White. Those QBs should probably be going over Devonta Smith. So they definitely have room to climb. Pick 35 and ADP 33. Yeah. Right around here, I'm probably selecting both of those QBs in front of Diggs too. So that'll be interesting to see as the season goes on. But this is gonna be our first draft from the 12 spot. And I've Garrett I think I have him ranked at 9. So feels good to get our guy at 12. T. Higgs off the board at 42. Another free agent this year. And there's some good landing spots. And then there's some bad landing spots. Commanders, 83 million in cap. Titans, both these spots are bad. Patriots, probably the worst one. Texans. Now it's like, okay, now we're talking. This is a team that severely needs maybe not a wide receiver 2, but a good number 3, and if they brought in someone like Higgins, who does that hurt more? Does that hurt Nico or Tank Dell more? So I think it might hurt Nico more. He brings in James Cook, so he's got 2 RBs, 1 QB, 1 receiver. Kelsey goes off the board at 45. Mahomes goes off the board 43. Little naked Mahomes. That's a good point. Cal says Panthers could be in the Higgins sweepstakes. That they're in desperate need of a wide receiver 1. Because it looks like they may have swung and missed on Mingo. Did that offense get a fair chance? You know what I mean? With how bad the O-line is. I don't think we really have a good look at who Bryce Young is. I don't think we have a really good look at Mingo. Somehow Adam Thielen's like a top 5 wide receiver through the first 10 weeks. And I had 1% Thielen last year. And then he disappears because that's who we expected him to be, especially at this point in his career when he already showed that dip in Minnesota in a place that he played. Ryan, welcome to the live stream. Says Jets are going to sign every free agent wide receiver. One body in that room is Garrett Wilson. I'm not too worried about the Jets. Like, are you worried about receivers coming in and taking work from Garrett Wilson? Dude, King of Kings is going off right now. 5 wide receiver start. He might be going off the rails. I like it. See, A-Rich go at 54. Take a stance, man. Take a stance. He's climbing up the board. Risk reward. Like A-Rich should probably be going in front of CJ Stroud, in my opinion. And then Houston, you have Noah Brown, who's a free agent. Kind of like last year's Rashid Shaheed. Going even later. Going around pick 200, right? 217. If he lands on a team that doesn't have a lot of cap space, team like Casey, he can put up numbers. I like the McLaurin pick there. Let's see. We like a few of these guys. JSN goes too soon, man. Godwin's there. We're getting rid of the Aaron Jones click. I do think Ridley returns. Let's do this. Says note, meaning that many landing spots for wide receivers will be. They need to build the room around. Yeah. Oh, they definitely need to add to it. Like Randall Cobb. Bringing in Randall Cobb wasn't going to be the answer, but it was a team that, I mean, Rodgers' contract's pretty thick, right? Kind of. And then he gave some money back afterwards. That did happen. He opened up some cap space afterwards. He pulled the old Tom Brady. Like, oh, here, have some of this money. I want better players around me. Turns out they should have spent it on O-line. Yeah, Jets are definitely in the need for a wide receiver too. It's going to be fun. It's always a fun shakeup through the NFL draft and then free agency. And you actually have some skilled players at wide receiver and running back this year. So Mike Evans, whether you think he's going to stay in Tampa or not, T. Higgs, Curtis Samuel could be a nice number 3 somewhere. He went to Washington and he was like the number 2. Some games he was the number 1. Um, Michael Pittman, believe he's got to stay in Indy, right? They got to keep him. They got to keep him. Drafters love DeMarcus Robinson too for some reason. It's like 31 years old. Kendrick Bourne, we'll see how he's doing with his injury status, but Kendrick Bourne isn't a terrible click. Although, like, New England, you basically guaranteeing they have to bring in receivers in this offense. New regime, start in. They should be making some splashes in free agency and the draft. Kirk off the board, 68. This dude just keeps getting gifted. Like that's nice. Getting Kirk there is nice. Because then there's a dip. There's a dip after Godwin. Yeah, Tyler Boyd's serviceable in the right offense. He's serviceable. But can Cincy afford to not pay both of them? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like one of them has to stay. Otherwise, you're just basically giving up. You're giving up the season, depending on what they do in the draft. And who are you going to bring in if you don't sign Boyd? It's like the Patriots releasing Myers and then signing Juju. It's like, what are we doing? Like, what's the point of that? What's the point of that? Pay him about the same money. Like, really? So it's like grass isn't always greener on the other side. They already know the offense. Brock Bowers going here at 73. Tajay at 72. Had a talk with one of the pounders on Twitter about Tajay, and depends what side of the seesaw you're sitting on. Pick 72 seems rich to me, personally, because I don't think he can be a 3-down back if Derrick Henry were to leave. It's also an offense that probably isn't going to have a huge change next season. I don't think they're all of a sudden going to be, a top 10 offense, especially if Derrick Henry leaves. So Tajay sort of worries me because sort of like Rachaad White, who was presumably not going to be on a good offense, and Tampa Bay ends up being pretty good under Baker. Rachaad White had the volume. He got there on volume. He didn't get there in efficiency. Tajay actually was efficient this year, but we've seen backup running backs in their careers be efficient as a backup, and then they get the starting role. Tony Pollard. Sorry. And they suck. Oh, I'd be worried about Tajay a little bit in that range. I think it's because of the players that go after him. Like, I would rather Tony Pollard, who we just shit on, Najee, Brian Robinson, and then these tight ends. Like, this is a good range for tight ends. Kyler Murray, we should start to think about bringing in Kyler here too. Bring in Kyler, pair him with McBride. Tempted to just do this, but can we get him to come back to us at 108? Can try to push it, I guess. But who are we going to push it for? Right? We'll bring in TP, king of the TP. Pick 85, 11 picks after ADP. Honestly, probably deserves to go in this spot. I'm not selecting him at ADP. And I think I have Brian Robinson on every team I've drafted so far. Yeah, Nick agrees. So Nick says Spears is way too rich. That's sort of how I'm seeing it. Fantasy Football Garage, welcome to the live stream. Says, what's up? How's it going tonight, Pounders? It's a beautiful day in Draft City. D-Hop, pick 88. It starts to thin out at receiver. Jonathan Johnson here, Myers. When you go Mike Williams, you're basically hoping he plays the last 3 games of the season. Even though we bring in Kyler Murray, like, I'm probably still ignoring Marquise Brown, like, he's not even here. Be curious if you guys think Marquise Brown's a good pick in this range, 'cause I'm ignoring both of these players. And JMO's rising, and I'm just gonna fade the crowd, I think. Like, where can JMO rise to, right? Like, where's his ceiling? Is he gonna go in front of these QBs? Is he gonna go in front of these tight ends? Like, there's not enough. I don't think there's enough room for him to positively move based off of good news. Even if, like, his ADP is there because Reynolds might leave. If Reynolds doesn't leave, or if he does, and then they bring someone else in or draft someone, I think he's kind of capped. So, and I just wasn't impressed by how they used him this season. If you're losing snaps to Josh Reynolds, he had 6 games off for gambling. It's not like he was injured to start the season. So you could make the argument that this was basically his rookie season because of injury the season before, but I don't know, man. He was still there studying the playbook and all that. Greg Dortch, I can't. Paulie, welcome to the live stream. I can't bring in Dortch. I'm fine with Michael Wilson at 156. Like, you think they have to add someone in the draft or free agency, right? So I'm sort of worried about bringing in Marquise Brown. That sort of adds to it. Not only his bad season, and he looked like he lost 3 steps. It's less risky to draft Michael Wilson at 156. Nick, I have a ton of Michael Wilson. How many drafts have you done, Nick? How many drafts have you done? Yeah. Fantasy Football Garage, good point. Says Spears is skyrocketing from RB27 to 24, up around in ADP already. Not because of me. Whether that's right or wrong, we'll fall on the sword. Hawk off the board at 102. Sutton, all right. T-Law off the board. My question is about Chicago, where you have DJ Moore rising, right? From what, round 4 or 5 last year to round 2, like early round 2 this season. I'm guessing the field is making a projection that they're going to have a positive change in QB. Okay, great. So we're drafting DJ Moore at or near ceiling, give or take maybe 3 spots, 4 spots. Why aren't we raising ADP on Komet or any of the other pass catchers in Chicago? If you're making that bet for DJ Moore, oh, that's tragic. That's tragic. It just leaves Marquise Brown there staring at us in the face. It's gross. Um, kind of a gross spot. Kind of a gross spot. Let's go Goddard, bring in our second tight end. QB is going to fall off. So we want our second QB probably by, man, I think we have to do it now. It might have to just be, I think we just go naked Goff, and this would just be an advance rate play. This would just be a strict advance rate play. A lot of these teams, like this team's already got 3 QBs. King of Kings has his 2. These teams don't have any. So these 2 rounds, like, I'm just worried about them vacuuming up all the QBs. We see Staffy go off the board at 111, 18 picks early. So that just confirms that we did like QB here was probably smart. These drafters and their QBs, man. This team's got a 3-1-2-3 build through 9 rounds. What? What is happening? Got the hero Nick Chubb build playing week 1. I like at least he started with 2 wide receivers. Brings in T-Lock. I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it. I think Mahomes should be going behind these 2 QBs. Probably. If you want to make it real spicy, you could put A-Rich ahead of Stroud and Mahomes this year. I mean, if he's healthy, where would he end up, right? You would expect him to be possibly a top 3 QB. So to rank him at 4 would be completely fine. Because Mooney sucks. Kmet should be higher, though. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree. 97% neighbors. That's hilarious. I mean, I think the neighbors should be going earlier, but there is risk reward. There is risk and reward. You just don't know where they're going to end up. Not everyone's going to end up on a bad team, though. And that's the thing. Like Neighbors and Marvin Harrison Jr., they probably should be going relatively close to one another. So the ADPs being that separate makes me like Neighbors more. Just because they run the same risk of ending up on a bad team, right? QBs are all undervalued. The good one's going to keep rising. Yeah, I agree with this. I agree. Yeah. Yeah, we're back. We're back on the same bandwagon with Myers. He was great. Is Neighbors to the Giants a death sentence, or can he make it work? That's a question for your boy, NF42. The Giants. Giants fan, but Giants fader. He'll be fine there. He'll be the clear number 1. He'll be fine. It wasn't that long ago that Daniel Jones was winning playoff games. It's just he had no O-line last year. No O-line. It's really tough to. All right, now he's gone off the rails. 3-1, a 3-2, 3-3. I don't think I've ever seen this. I hope he brings in another RB. Get the screenshots ready. I'm going to make a t-shirt. Extreme balance. Go get your guys. We got our 2 RBs. Wicks off the board. Schultz off the board. Jahan Dotson falls to 125. Judy, probably not going to be clicking Judy too much this year. Gabe Davis is a fine pick in this range. It really is. You're just looking for spike weeks, right? Wandell's fine. Let's bring in Ladd. Let's bring in our first rookie here. I think we have to go RB. We might be reaching, boys. We might be reaching. Let's see if he comes back. If it's meant to be, he'll come back to us. You guys set it free. 21 picks away. If not, we'll go a different route. These are some of the clicks I'm gonna like in this range. I don't know if I can get behind the McLaughlin yet. Where are you guys at with Jaleel? Seems a little rich at 164 right now. Whoa, okay. Michael Wilson off the board, 20 picks early. Yeah, Nick says no thanks. That's that's how I'm feeling right now. Nick, how about can we sell you shiny Adam Thielen this year for 148? Are we gonna make the same mistake and not draft him again? And then he's gonna be a top 5 wide receiver through 7 weeks? I'm gonna make that bet. Let's fade, fade, fade. Fade, fade. Fade, fade, fade. All right. Let's see. Rodgers. Is anyone gonna be picking Rodgers besides us too? I feel like we should be able to get him on the way back around. But we'll see if a team's really hurting for QB. Like this team only has one rookie. This pick 71 probably should have been a QB for him. He went 1 RB. He had Devontae Adams, Olave, Zay Flowers, Cooper Kupp. He was set up so well. You can make the argument David Montgomery or the receiver. One of these guys should have been a QB. Maybe even two. 2 QBs here would have been fine too. But this run at QB, we had to bring in Kyler there for sure. That's crazy. That might be the most QBs I've ever seen drafted in a row. 7 QBs in a row. That's interesting. Nick sending me DMs now. Oh shit. A little one RB, 6 wide receivers start. You getting receivers to fall to you too? That's sick. That's a 6 squad. Let's do this here. If you guys aren't already in the Discord, first off, what are you doing? Second off, active Bestball community when I'm off stream. That's where you can catch me. That's where you can catch all the pounders off stream. Draft together. We fill lobbies real quick in the currently drafting section, and we have draft grade section for your teams when you're done to post them. Yeah, this is a good spot for Shaheed. I think like 134 is fine too, but it feels a little better when he falls. Not gonna lie. We're 8 picks away from getting Rodgers. Allows us to bring in Conklin too if we wanted later. Where's the Conk go? Tell me, I was gonna say, tell me he's not already off the board. 187. Which makes sense for a third tight end. When did Kendry get drafted? Who took him? The one spot took him at 144 with Wandale. Darren Waller couldn't stay healthy again last season. At this point, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen for him, unfortunately. Probably just ignoring Quentin Johnson here. Elijah Moore seems like a fair price, though. Xavier Worthy off the board. Darren Waller became a rapper. I need the link to that. 2-5-3-2 build. So, like, we have 2 people just going off the rails in this room. 2 drafters going completely off the rails. More than paying for the rake in this spot. I'm probably just gonna have to end up like this is gonna be This is going to be pretty wild at running back, not going to lie. We might not be able to afford to go a third tight end. We'll see. I like Algier. Like, Algier here makes sense. But we're not going to do it. We're not going to do it. Curtis Samuel to the Jets for the Rodgers Garrett Wilson stack. Joshua Tap, welcome to the live stream, says, did Mayer just go at 145? Yeah, 146. I like his price of 166 better, for sure. For sure. Glab brings in Elijah Moore with the Deshaun stack. Now, Flacco's a free agent, but does anyone think they're going to release Flacco? Or Flacco's just going to retire? Like, I feel like they have to bring him back at this point after a playoff run and him looking better and outperforming Deshaun Watson. Kind of worrisome for Watson. Now, you're getting that discount where he's going in the 150s, but still a little worrisome. He didn't look good. He did not look good. We got our 3 QBs. We got Rodgers to fall 14 picks, which you can push Rodgers. When you have Garrett Wilson, who else is going to be stacking Rodgers? Like the Brees Hall squad? I don't know. I don't love it. I don't love it. So that's a little note to self. You can push those guys. Especially there's a lot of unknown with Rodgers, right? The injury. Let's go over King of Kings team. So he started with 5 receivers in a row: Chase, Brandon Ayuk, Devonta Smith, T. Higgins, Calvin Ridley. Brings in Kincaid, Burrow. Nice. Really nice. So potentially if T. Higgs returns, which I don't think he's gonna, but he could, you could have a double there with Burrow, which last year you had to pay first, second, and third round, or if you were smart and you were in our lobbies, you would pay a first, second, and fourth round. Brian Robinson, first running back. Really, I like attacking that as your first RB in a 0 RB build. Brings in T-Law, Rashawn Johnson, Charbonnet. Oh, you're crushing this one, man. Brings in Pat Fry and Kate Otten. I don't know if Pat Fry could have a worse year. But I'm probably waiting on the Cade Otten pick. Probably waiting a little later, trying to grab one of these guys. But I like that team a lot. I like that team a lot. Yeah, I was gonna say, chances we get Algier to fall back to us, you'd have to fall pretty freaking far. Wasn't gonna happen. Damn. I think you have to ignore Elijah Mitchell. I think you have to ignore Damian Pierce here. Gus Edwards is fine. I guess that depends. If you think Dobbins is going to return to Baltimore and return healthy. Otherwise, you're selecting Gus here for like those 8 to 10 point games. He's not someone that's going to spike for 23, 24 points. And we have a good base. Like, I'm fine with the base of Kyron and Tony Pollard. I'm fine with that. We just need to add some dart throws here. We have to hit some darts, not smoke some darts. Madison, just cross his name off the list, please. I'm going to have to change my ranks and just take him off my board. Marvin Mims Jr. Remember the celebrations? The early game 1 celebrations after, like, one long catch? Everyone's posting their exposures to Marvin Mims. I'm over here in the corner like, "I don't have any Marvin Mims, fuck." And then the team, like, refused to use him, and it got bad in Denver pretty quick. Hopefully, we all learned a lesson on, victory laps. I had a fair share of victory laps, but game 1's aggressive. Gus Eddy here. And Boyd. I don't think this team can really afford to go Dobbins. Let's go Antonio Gibson. And we have, what, 6 wide receivers? Elijah Mitchell's fallen, what, 13 picks? I still don't love it. I still don't love it. Let's bring Gainwell down here to 181. Swift is a free agent. We'll see what they do with him in free agency. Probably have a good amount of Gainwell until then. And trust me, I was not a Gainwell truther last year. Most likely the opposite. Vape says, Arthur Smith will do his best to screw Pat. Accurate. 100%. Luckily, I wasn't super high on London. I wasn't super high on Kyle Pitts last season. And I wasn't super high on Bijan. So I did save some hair follicles by not drafting those guys this year. Whether it was QB play or coaching. Where will Penny go? We're not doing it. We're not doing that again. We're not doing that. Penny was on Herzig in my team that came in second or third in round 16 of BBM4. He just literally provided 0 points to that team. Not a single point. But the process wasn't terrible. Whoever was getting the touches there was going to be successful. And I mean, you saw really good success from Swift early in the season before he fell off. Dobbins goes at 186. Boyd here at 187. Yeah, this team needed like a Boyd too. Not having a receiver, only having 2 receivers through 9 rounds. Going Tyler Lockett, which is okay. I like Boyd for this team, like a lot. Honestly, Alec Pierce, he ran the most cardio last year out of anyone. That dude, cardio machine, loves to run. Honestly, he should just get into track. Track might be his thing. It was sad when both Anthony Richardson and Minshew hate him. Like, they just didn't target him. He was on the field. Check that guy's snap counts. He's on the field for 85% plus of the snaps, playing the wide receiver 2 role. I think he got there 1 game. I think he had 1 spike week. So Shaheed was definitely the better pick in that range. Yeah. I was early on Pierce in the big board last year. And then I made the switch to Shaheed. Luckily. I ended up with like 14, 15% Pierce. You would think it'd be more, but about 14, 15%. If Elijah Mitchell comes back to us, we're clicking Elijah Mitchell. Yeah. A lot of my exposures were relatively even last year. I only had like 5 guys above 20%. Just tried a different style of drafting, where the year before I went all in on players, and it worked really nice for advanced rates. I had like almost 40% Christian Watson last season. Well, the season before, excuse me. And he hit in multiple playoff games in a row. Ended up sending 5 teams to the finals across various tournaments, mainly because of his spike weeks. And then last year it was Puka, it was Kyron. But to be at field average last season, I think we did the math. It was like 3.4% on average. The amount of people that drafted Kyron versus the lobbies that he just didn't go draft it at all. So if you had 3.4%, you were at average on the field based on his ownership. Ray Davis is gone, Nick. Goddamn, this guy came in here and did it for you. We're not going 3 for 3. We're not going 3 for 3. We're going to have to find a different well to drink from. Have to find a different well. That guy is smart. You would think so. You would think so. But I don't think so. It's probably too much capital at tight end. I think that TJ Hawk pick's probably his killer pick here. You can stop here with 2 and be super comfortable. TJ Hawk, if that's a receiver or a running back, yeah, I mean, he's feeling a lot better about it. Feeling a lot better about it. Bo Nix off the board at 200. See what we want to do. Let's see what we want to do. Rondell Moore, I believe, is a free agent, right? Bringing in another rookie receiver here in Ricky Pearsall. I could see Ricky going to a team like Miami. Really good in motion. That's really where he would excel. I hope he lands in Miami. That's my player prediction. Max Sauce, welcome to the live stream, man. We have to see how we're doing on timing after this one ends. How are we doing on the likes? More importantly, go down, slap that like. Gotta break 20. Can't go down from last stream. On the way up. Only up from here. Masson off the board, 202. With Ty Chandler on the same team. Davis Allen. Damian Pierce at 197. Is everyone just ignoring Damian Pierce? That's sort of where I'm at with him, no matter how late he goes. Yo, Nick. Yeah, Nick got boxed. Nick got boxed at QB. It happens to the best of us, especially in these rooms early this offseason. You have to keep track of every squad. Like, you have a ton of drafters going 3 QBs early this season. You have people like there's a shit ton of teams in this draft room that have 3 QBs already, and there's a few with only 1, and I'm sure like this dude got boxed. Done. This dude got boxed. Rice's kid off the board. Wasn't overly impressed with his tape, but AJ Dillon finally goes off the board at 212. Honestly, a fair price. One spot, bringing it all the way down. 4, 3, 2, 1. Auto pick, Bryce Young. Okay, he might be on auto. Although he needed QB, so if he is, it worked out for him. He goes Will Levis, 28 picks before ADP. Just seeing that. Even better. Even better. Uncorrelated Will Levis. I mean, if you want to count Tajay, like, sure, that's fine. Not completely uncorrelated, but pretty damn close. Yeah, Josh, I'm 100% with you there. Says I can't get behind the heavy QB drafting. No way half the league gets injured again. I agree. This isn't one of those where we look back on last year and oh shit, I need more QBs. It's probably take the bet that doesn't happen again because it's not going to. Now, where I think you can learn from it is like Jimmy G going at pick 190, Ryan Tannehill at 212, like just going 3 late QBs like that and then getting 2 QBs that don't finish the season, or Sam Howell, if you want to add him, 3 QBs that don't finish the season. We can learn from that because there are plenty of those guys this year. That's like, that 3 QB late strategy is probably not the best this season, especially mixed in with the recency bias of teams just bringing in a ton of early QBs. I think if you're making good selections, you can punish those teams. Thing is, there's so many landmines in these first 6 rounds, 7 rounds even. So many landmines. Where it's like last year, you had it at least seemed like more certain picks. There was a lot of landmines last year. Even at like the 2-3 turn, all those running backs basically busted from Stevenson, Henry, Pollard, all those guys. And it's like, oh, I faded Tony Pollard. Like, I'm the smartest man ever. It's like, yeah, but you also had 10% Stevenson. So you're also overweight in other places. Yeah. We need a receiver here. We need one receiver and probably one running back. I think Tutu's fine here. You make the bet that Demarcus Robinson doesn't return. Maybe Tutu gets some more opportunities. Maybe Kupp gets injured because he's a million years old. I like Noah Brown as well. Mooney's an okay click. We'll bring in Tutu. Running backs. It gets thin. CH, I think, is a fine click as a free agent. I'm going to bring in CH here. I think Israel Abanaconda's not bad again this season, to be honest. We had the Jets correlation. Could have went that route too. Maybe make the bet that Breece Hall gets hurt. He gets some more opportunities. Yeah, the 2-2 price is nice. Not going to lie. Last round. Nick, you just keep adding rookies. Take Daniel Jones. You're a Giants fan. Daniel Jones goes at 166 in this room. Ahead of ADP, right? 8 picks. 8 picks. Count it. But yeah, draft guide's going to be done. I'm going to be finishing it tonight after the live stream, and that will be available to all Patreon members. Link is in the description. That's going to be fully for the whole off season. Big board, several updates. Bestball Mania, several updates, amongst whatever other benefits you get based on what tier. All right, King of Kings. We're gonna go over his draft. I think he's the only one that snuck in here with us. Also, you get the benefit of being tipped off when we jump into the draft room. People love that. Ooh, we're bringing out the sleeps. We are bringing out the sleeps. He brings in Alec Pierce too. I mean, makes sense. He's gonna be on the field, although they have to get Pittman back here. They have the cap space. You have your QB playing his second year, obviously first year injured, but you have to give him help. And is there a better free agent than T. Higgs left on the board? Pittman on the board? Yeah, T. Higgs is right there with him, but I think they like Pittman enough that they'll get a deal done. Josh Downs, second year. We'll see. It'll be interesting what they do with Alec Pierce. My worry is like neither QB liked him. Neither QB liked him. We'll see. Jane Daniels, from rushing upside standpoint, like that's nice. Those QBs, they're less reliant on landing spot. So as long as he doesn't end up as a number 2 somewhere. In the last pick of the draft, I'm going to pull this up. We'll pull up King of Kings squad. Go over that real quick. I feel like I'm in mid-season form. Just need to get more rookie research done. Been doing it every single day, grinding QBs, grinding running backs. Just trying to make my way all the way to ADP 240 right now. Joe Burrow and Trevor Lawrence. I like the QBs. At tight end, Kincaid, Freiermuth, and Otten. Definitely serviceable at tight end. B-Rob, Rashawn Johnson, Charbonnet, Braylon Allen, J.K. Dobbins, Take Bigsby. Nice. Yeah. I mean, you need a couple of these dudes to hit, and that's zero RB strategy. Although I'd call it sort of modified zero RB with Brian Robinson start at 90. I think he should be going around pick. Let's see. He shouldn't go in front of these QBs. But you could put him in front of this group here, in my opinion. Wide receivers, Chase, Ayuk, Smith, T. Higgs, Ridley, Zay Jones, Burton, and Pierce. Yeah, strong at wide receiver. I think you're pretty well balanced here. Really well balanced. And that's at the end of the day, you have a well balanced team, you have some correlation. That's all it really takes for you to be happy with your draft, right? You get some values, that always feels good. You get someone to follow to you, someone that's correlated too, that feels good. Went it with Kyler, Goff, Rodgers, uncorrelated Goff, just an advance rate pick. McBride and Goddard, we stopped at 2 tight ends here, so we could kind of catch up at RB, and I don't think we need to catch up at receiver. Like this 2-2 pick could have been a tight end. It's just, I think we get more points from 2-2, and where we have 2 running backs, this will sort of shore up the wide receiver room, I think, a little bit as they get acclimated to the NFL. Kyron, Tony Pollard, Chuba Hubbard, Antonio Gibson, Kent Gainwell, Jalen Wright, and CEH, who I was completely off last year. So we'll see if the CEH truthers see this video. They'll let me know about it. Garrett Wilson, Keenan Allen, Jalen Waddle, George Pickens, Ladd. Go watch this kid's tape. It's exciting. Curtis Samuel, Ricky, another one that I really liked his tape. Really good in space, runs all sorts of different routes. You can put them all over the field. And 2-2. So I'm happy with this one. And again, this tournament is 3 out of 12 advance out of the first round, then 1 out of 10, 1 out of 10 with a 558 team final. So if you get one team to the finals, it's 500, 200K up top. So again, you're drafting for correlation. Shout out to Brian Bonner. Took down the Chow last year, pounder for 50K. So again, correlated squads will take down those finals teams. You just gotta get a little bit of luck and hit on the right squad to get it there. But guys, appreciate everyone coming out tonight. I'm gonna go finish that draft guide so it's done for everyone tonight. I hope everyone has a good night, and we'll catch you again tomorrow night. We'll be back live, so make sure you leave a like, leave a comment if you're feeling generous, Pounders.